Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is Fred, the submarine guy, coming to you. This is day 2 about our free Facebook Leads program. And today I'm going to talk to you about communicating with your crew. Your crew obviously can be called your tribe or your team or whatever you want to call them. But being sort of the submarine guy, I kind of go with the crew because we always had a crew of people on our submarine. So now that you're getting all these new Facebook leads, you've got to be able to communicate with them to get them to know, like, and trust you and believe in you so that they're going to buy your stuff. Okay? And buy your stuff is kind of a generic term I use for join your MLM, buy your product, buy your services, buy your coaching program, whatever you're marketing to make money online. Okay, so and communication is the key. The reason I say that is we're at a significant disadvantage here online versus a brick and mortar storefront or someplace you could drive up to and get out of your car and walk in the store kind of thing, because we don't have that personal interaction with our potential customers, so that they could, they can walk up to the counter, or you could walk up to them and say, may I help you? What are you looking for? Do you like the red versus the blue? All that kind of personal stuff, personal service you get when you go in the store is not here when you're online. So we have to make up for it in different ways so that the customer will feel comfortable with us and trust us enough to buy your stuff, right? So how do we do that? Let me bring up a few things here, and these are mainly ways that we're going to communicate with our potential customers. Now, since we're concentrating on free leads from Facebook with their billion plus people, you're going to see Facebook groups as a main method for communication, because that's where we found them. That's where we know that they hang out. So it would be good to keep them in their own environment, i.e. Facebook. So we sort of center things around Facebook groups with text communication, writing, video. Some people do video, Facebook Lives, or you can upload video to Facebook now. And graphics, if you're a graphics master, or you know how to do graphics, or you use Canva or something like that, you could put graphics up there with messages on them and things like that. So I think that's important to sort of center your group on Facebook, to have sort of a meeting place for your crew to go. And as they do, and they go through your training and your writings and your videos and your other communication, they can also interact with other members of the Facebook group, obviously depending on how you got the group set up and how you allow interaction. But Facebook groups is important, I think, as a foundation for your communication with your crew. Now, I also recommend getting a video with you in front of the camera, so that you can develop that know, like, and trust factor. I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to be on camera, I'm not I'm not good in front of a camera. I don't know how to speak. Obviously, I don't either. I go, you just got to get on there and be yourself. Okay. I kind of tend to write these PowerPoint slides up in advance to kind of guide me on what I'm saying. Some people just slap themselves up there across the screen, and they can extemporaneously talk, or they can have a note sheet, in front of them, or different things. But there's a lot of different options there that you can do it from just a headshot in the corner like I'm doing, to a face in the middle of the screen, to just a screenshot of a PowerPoint or a website that you're walking them through or whatever. But it's good to get videos up. You get a lot more personality when you communicate via video than any you could ever get from writing. Okay, I mean, you can hear the inflection in my voice, you can see the expression on my face, you can see my hand movements. You know, all those things help to make the customer, the potential customer, feel you know, better about you, and gain trust in you and like you, hopefully, from seeing you on camera. Okay, not required, but highly recommended. Again, you can also do a lot of training on video, demonstrations. You can show products, lots of things you can do with video that are too hard to do or very limited to do with just text writing like you might do in a Facebook group. The third thing I recommend is you always have a method to get your customers, your potential customers, on your email list. Everybody does email these days. Most people have smartphones, smart devices, iPads, those kind of things that they can pull up their email and look at it multiple times per day. Okay, it's the one asset which you will own. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at Facebook, you know, Facebook is a commercial enterprise. They're there for profit, and they may set up rules someday that mean that would prevent you from marketing on Facebook. Okay, so if you have all your contacts on there and you don't have a way to communicate with them other than Facebook, you could be shut out because of new Facebook rules. I'm not seeing that coming anytime soon, but that's just an example. Same sort of thing with YouTube. You know, right now it's free. I can put up pretty much any kind of video I want within, you know, decency limits, kind of thing, right? But again, it's been bought by Google. There's more and more ads on it now that you see. Eventually, you could see that as a commercial enterprise where you would either have to pay to play, or you wouldn't be allowed to play in the method we're using it for now. But email is going to be with you no matter what happens. You know, the autoresponders that you can get with Aweber or GetResponse or TrafficWave, that kind of thing, cost you 15 or 20 bucks a month, but those email lists are yours, and you can download them and keep a copy. And so even if Aweber or GetResponse goes away, you can still have a copy of your email list that you could take to another service and continue to market and communicate with your customers, your prospects, via email. I just can't emphasize enough the importance of building your email list as the singular asset which you have, which will be with you for a long time. Obviously, you can use email to, well, first of all, you have to provide an opportunity for people to get on your email list, and that's done with lead capture pages, lead forms that you might put on your blog or your website, things like that. So you have to be able to, you know, have that capability and be able to do that. But once they're on your list, you can use the email to drive them back to your Facebook group, to drive them over to your YouTube videos. I do that a lot. To drive them to your blog. Your blog may have a YouTube video embedded on it, that kind of thing. May have some audio on it. And obviously, if you've got an offer, your sales page can be one of the places where you drive your traffic to, right? And that's either on your blog or on a website, kind of thing. So you can drive your traffic from your email list to your offer, to your sales page. There's a lot of controversy. I'll say there's some controversy about the frequency with which you should communicate on email. I tend to communicate almost daily with my subscribers on email. I skip Sunday routinely, and I put out a summary on Saturday of the Monday through Friday emails. So those are kind of standards. And then Monday through Friday, I generally put out content-based training or education kind of things for 3 or 4 of those days, and then usually an offer at the end of the week, or sometimes in the middle of the week, depending on what I'm writing about and where it falls in the sequence. An offer to purchase a product or service and that kind of thing. So my readers hear from me pretty much daily, with a few exceptions. There's some people that say, hey, once or twice a week is probably enough. And then, of course, there's some people that say once or twice a week is too much, that you might want to go to monthly. I think if you're not in front of your customers, your potential prospects, at least weekly, you're going to lose them monthly. I mean, you're going to have to reintroduce yourself. They're going to have to remember who you are and why you got on their list, and that kind of stuff, if you're not in front of them at least weekly. So whether you do that from a Facebook group or with a YouTube video or however you do that, or email, you need to be in front of your prospects at least weekly, preferably, daily or almost daily is even better. Now, it depends on your group too. I lose a lot of subscribers with daily emails. Some people don't like to get that much email. But I'm thinking, hey, if you're serious about growing a business and I'm providing good info, daily's probably not too much. I remember I was on one guy's list who sent 2 emails a day. In the morning, he would send a sort of a personal email, what's going on in my life kind of email. They ended up calling them Seinfeld emails. If you ever watched the Seinfeld series, a comedy series, those were just average people. Well, they were actors, all right, but they were average settings and just things that happened during the day, dating and taking in and out the trash and getting bad service. It was all kind of things, and it was just funny how they were involved in it. Well, anyway, this guy sent out a personal email in the morning and then a business email in the afternoon or the early evening. And I read every one of his. I was just intrigued and enthralled by looking into the personal life of this guy. I mean, it wasn't anything exciting. He had some kids, and he's married, so he had some of those kind of stories. It wasn't any great lessons or anything. It was just here's what's going on in my life. And then you knew you were going to hear from him later in the day for whatever's going on in business. Buy my product, check out my new offers, that kind of thing. So that was twice daily, and I still didn't think that was too much. Now, for some reason, he stopped that. I don't know what he's doing now, but I haven't heard from him for a couple of years. Maybe he retired because he was making good money with it. Anyway, I kind of digressed there. 3 recommendations for staying in communication with your prospects: Facebook groups, YouTube video, or some other video. You can put them. There's a lot of video sharing sites, Vimeo and Dailymotion and that kind of stuff. But YouTube is free, and it's sort of the common one. And then email. If you don't have people on an email list, do consider setting that up for long-term continuity. So the next thing to talk about is, what are you going to talk about with your prospects? So let's say you've got your prospects into your Facebook group on some premise, and basically what you need to do is think about who your target audience is. One of the problems that is inherent in the Make Money Online industry is thinking that my product or service allows you to make money, therefore it's applicable to everybody. Bad logic. You need to look at it from another perspective. Define your target market, your perfect prospect, and think about what his pain points are, or what he's worried about every day, and those sorts of things, so that you can target those things with a solution. And so what do I mean? Well, he's worried about sending his kids to college. He doesn't have enough money. He's worried about not being able to pay bills. He's worried about some things like that, okay? may be worried about his health. If you've got health products, you know, if you're targeting an older generation, they may be worried about their health or their energy or their heart, you know, things like that. And then you can address those pain points with solutions that your product or service will provide. So if I'm targeting network marketers who are failing in online marketing, I would offer them a good lead source. I would offer them training on how to develop leads like I'm doing now. I would offer them things that would help them get more leads for their business or their product or their service. Okay, and because that's one of their pain points that they're currently experiencing. They're online, they're marketing, they're not getting good success. I can offer them leads. I can offer them lead capture pages that convert well, those kind of things. Okay, so when you target those, you are focusing in on a tighter and tighter niche, but your prospect will respond far better if you are talking about his pain points. Okay, does that make sense? That's the real key to this whole thing. If you're talking in your advertisements about solving a problem for a customer, he's more likely to listen to you and take your advice of whatever you're recommending or selling or providing for him. Okay, so provide the solutions for his pain. One of the things you can do is show empathy, and in other words, you know, show that you understand his pain. And I used the feel, felt, found sequence. If you're not familiar with that, it's a way of writing using the feel, felt, and found words in sequence like this. I feel your pain. I understand, you know, how you feel. I felt that way before when it happened to me, or whatever the story is. And then what I found is when using this and you doing that, it solves the problem, kind of thing. So you feel what the customer feels. You felt the pain yourself when something similar or exact happened to you, but then you found a solution which you're going to recommend to him. So you can use the feel, felt, found, and by doing that, you'll draw the prospect to you. Oh, he knows how I feel. He's already been there. He knows how that happened. Oh, and he found a solution. Maybe I should look at this, kind of thing, right? So show empathy, feel, felt, found, and then obviously call to action is another lesson down on day 4, I think, but lead him to either more info or a decision with your call to action, right? That sort of follows the addressing the pain kind of thing. So talk about your avatar, or define your avatar first, so that you can understand his pain points, his frustrations that he's experiencing or thinking of, and then figure out with your product or service how you can provide solutions to that pain, right? So what do you need to learn? Well, you need to learn how to converse with your avatar, and that's why we're having this training. You can either do it on Facebook, you can do it with video, you can do it with email, you can do it with a blog post, and email can drive them to your blog post, that sort of thing. Be yourself. Tell your story. The next lesson I got is developing your story, but just be yourself. Understand your avatar's pain points and his fears, and offer help without being salesy. You know, the worst fear that we have as marketers is that we come across as used car salesmen, right? And that's the last thing you want to do. You want to understand your target market's fears and pains, and then without being salesy, find a solution which you could suggest might help them. And of course, a link to your sales page, right? So again, there's not a lot of rocket science here. You got to get over your fear of writing and talking to potential prospects. But I think once you understand your avatar, your person that you're writing to and talking to, it'll be much easier. I found that I had this epiphany about a year ago where I started writing out a script for a video, and I thought, I got a couple of paragraphs into it, and then I reread it and I thought, I don't talk like that. I read through my writing and I said, I don't talk like that. So after that, I started writing like I talk, and, leaving out a lot of periods and commas and putting in a bunch of dashes and quote marks and all that kind of stuff so I would understand my inflections. But once I started writing like I would talk about it, I got a much better product, right? And the other thing was I was able to focus thoughts in small snippets. So what I like to do in email is keep my paragraphs very short, right? So people don't have to like blah, trudge through long sentence after sentence kind of paragraphs. I like to make a point, describe the point, give an example, whatever, and then move down to the next one and move down to the next one and move down to the next one kind of thing. So anyway, I think maybe that'll help you. Once you get that avatar defined, that one person that you're selling to, that you're talking to, then you'll be able to much easier. It'll be much easier for you to describe your feel, felt, found stuff and the solution that you have for your prospect. So that's it for today. This was day 2. The first video obviously was the free Facebook leads idea. Today, really important stuff in communicating with your tribe: how often to communicate, where to communicate, how to communicate, what to say, and that sort of stuff. Tomorrow, well, the next lesson, I'm still developing this, so it might not be tomorrow actually, but once this whole sequence is finished, we're going to talk about writing your story. And you can start thinking about, it's, do you have a down and out story, or a failure and success story, or that sort of thing, so that you can sort of get that out to your prospect to say, hey, I'm in your shoes, or I was in your shoes and now I'm seeing success, that kind of thing. So that's kind of where we're going with your story. Then we'll talk about CTAs in lesson 4, a little more about social expansion in lesson 5. Your other story, I'll leave that one to your mind. And then on lesson 7, we'll develop a plan and look at a critique of what you got so far. So that's it for today. That's the last slide. If you've got any questions, you can email me. While you're here watching the video, see, it's down on the bottom left, I think. I don't remember. Yeah, it's probably over there. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you would, if you like this video, and any comments in the section down below the video, I would appreciate it. Talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.